Dan, ready? Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Conversations with Sarah. Today is May 14th, 2020, Thursday, and we have with us Guru Dan,
Hello.
Kimmy,
Hi.
Holly,
Howdy.
and Rebecca.
Hi.
Today, we're discussing about working in settings like hospitals or psychiatric wards, um, how to deal with that sort of thing, because you may be dealing with people who are they're not in the understanding that they are multidimensional beings, but they are in the understanding that they are just physical beings, and they're not able to understand that they are both, or balance the frequencies of both at the same time. So Holly and Kimmy are having a discussion at the moment, and I'm going to start with Holly. She's going to tell us her story. Okay?
Hello.
Hello.
I'm going to tell it's a good story. I mean, we were just mentioning, there were occurrences in the medical field where you'd run across patients that were overtaken by low vibrational beings that they didn't even know was happening.
Can we start off with who you are and how you've had this experience first? So we know the background.
I'm sorry. I'm Holly Strong of Quintessence Healing Arts.
Thank you.
I was in the medical field for 22 years in ultrasound, and I taught it as well. And so I have been in every kind of background you could imagine: big, huge city hospitals, small doctors' offices, every place you could imagine. And and we were discussing how I was kind of giving a heads up to Kimmy what to look out for, because it could be very unsettling if you're not prepared. And but I have a good story, conversely, that I wanted to share in one of those circumstances. I was working in a clinic by myself. I just headed my own little department. And my first patient of the day actually came in with like an armed guard. And so when I went to open up the door to call the patient, he got up, he and the guard said, "You're going to be okay with him?" I said, "Oh, sure, no problem." But, my first thought was, oh my gosh, if I'd run across this guy in a back alley at night somewhere, I think I'd run off screaming, And he was a black gentleman with long dreadlocks and very disheveled, in his clothes, nothing matched. And that was my first impression, but I suppressed it, and kept my professional air about me. I didn't want to be judgmental or anything. So he was laying down, and I remember it was a full abdominal ultrasound. And after questions, he was laying there, and I was scanning away, taking my pictures. And all of a sudden, he just looks over at me and quietly says, I'm trying to think of the word. I think he said, like, God is within you. Or, it just sort of stopped me. And I looked at him, and he looked at me. And I just I was really, really shy back then, believe it or not.
How long ago was this?
Uh, maybe 20 years,
20.
25, early in my career.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And so I was just like, I just kind of said, yes, it is. And I kept scanning. So when it was done, I wiped him off and he sat up. And I was standing in front of him, as he was pulling down his shirt. He was still sitting on the bed. I'm standing in front of him. And he just looks me in the eyes and I just lost it. I burst into tears. He burst into tears. We just kind of like fell into each other's arms in this most amazing, pure God energy, agape. And it was such a shocking, but it was just one of the most amazing, loving and thing that ever happened to me. And looking back on it from my perspective now, he was an incarnated angel brother, and so was I, but I didn't know it. I wasn't awakened yet. I didn't even know I was an angel. So it was one angel recognizing another in its most purest form. And let me tell you, it was the most cellular to the cellular level, gratifying, pure source love energy exchange I will never forget, from the most unlikely source you could ever imagine.
Mm.
It was awesome. And conversely, I have a few horror stories as well. A patient turning over and looking at me with this awful sick grin on his face and some demon looking back at me. So, that happens as well. But I wanted to share a super duper nice story. So
That was beautiful.
Yes, that's beautiful.
gives you something to look forward to, because you just never know who's going to be in front of you. You just don't know who they truly are.
Right. And that's why I try not to like judge books by their covers, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Never know who you got. I have to run for like 2 seconds, but I'll be right back, okay?
Okay, very good.
All right.
Oh, what a wonderful story, Holly. Wonderful. And when I met Holly just 5 years ago, she was still in her shy stage. She was the shyest person you could possibly imagine. She's so strong and powerful now, you would never consider her being shy. So,
Oh my goodness, I'm not even the same person.
not
That's great.
at all.
I know that's the truth. You're absolutely not the same person at all. You're even a couple beyond that one. Yeah.
Yes, you're right. I've manifested into a number of different people since then.
You started the ball rolling and you just kept going. Yeah. It was hell to get the
Yeah.
ball fixed, but once you got your ball fixed, yeah, it's fine.
Oh yeah, it was amazing. But I really commend you, Kimmy, because it is a very gratifying field if it is what makes your heart happy.
Mm-hmm.
If you go into it for money and not for love, it will suck the life right out of you.
Well, the audience don't know what you're referring to.
Oh,
Kimmy,
medical field. The
yeah,
medical
Kimmy
field in
is studying
general.
to be a nurse. So we were telling her how it is being a nurse practitioner and dealing with people who come to see you. She's studying psychiatry as well. So we told her, hey, that could be a good thing simply because she's in her awakening stage, and she may come across people who are dealing with, the different realms of reality while being in their physical body and may not understand it. And she would be there to help them to understand what's really going on. So, she has the good work to do.
Yes, it's a
Blessings to
very
you,
good word.
Kimmy.
What's that?
Blessings to Kimmy.
Blessings to Kim. Yes, I love it. That's perfect. Thank you for that story, Holly. I mean,
Oh, you're welcome. I have so many.
oh my God. Yeah, I have a similar story, but it's not in the medical field. I was driving with some people at night, well, not driving, but riding with some people at night, coming from Michigan, going towards New York. And we were out there at 2 o'clock in the morning when the car kind of pulled over because the tire had, burst. And so we were trying to call AAA and all sorts of people, and they were all saying, "Oh, we can't make it out there. It's too late at night, and you're in the middle of nowhere." So we were trying to figure out how are we going to get out of this. We need somebody to help us with the tire or get a tow or something like that. And out of nowhere, less than 20 minutes after the car stopped, a towing guy with the truck and the back and everything there came. And his partner was young white male who did not speak. Apparently he was a mute. Okay. And I'm saying quotations because you'll find out later that no. So they came and they say, "You need any help?" And they started helping us, the drivers talking, and we're like, "Thank you so much. Thank you. We couldn't find anybody this late at night. Thank you so much for helping us." And all the while, my eyes locks onto this young man. And I'm looking at him, and there were like 6 people in the car. And all of us are light workers, and we all stare and look at him as our driver is talking to the other driver. We're staring at him like, basically, this is not a normal human being. We can all feel something coming off of him. And they helped us out. They changed the tire. And all of a sudden I blurted out, "That guy's an angel." And I'm literally, and the next lady to me, she goes, "Yes, he is." And the next person goes, "Yeah, he's not mute. He just doesn't want to speak because everybody would try to keep him." So it's like,
Aw.
"No, that guy's an angel."
Aw.
And we all knew it. He just, the energy off of him was shining so bright. We couldn't even take our eyes off of him. Like, that's just one of the things he says, just to make sure people do not try to speak to him or say, "Hey, come with us, stay with us. Like, let's put you in our purses."
Get in my pocket.
Get in my pocket. Like,
We'll feed you. You like gummy bears?
That's a really
get
sweet
in my pocket. Stay with me. No, that guy was not mute. But the angel came to help us in the middle of the night.
Mhm.
so cool. A really cool story.
So that's why I say he is not a mute guy. No, 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 no. But that's what the driver told us. And so we was like, "Okay, he's mute." Nah, that dude's not mute. Yeah, so you can have these types of experiences where you think you're meeting one person and all of a sudden
Mhm.
you're
Yeah,
connecting yourself. You'll
very true.
figure out the differences in frequency and energy, and you say, what's going on here?" So, Kimmy, you got your work cut out for you because you're going to be noticing that in your realm of work.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Mhm.
It's gonna be really cool. I'm gonna get to meet all sorts of
Yeah.
people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, there are angels walking amongst us all the time, whether they come in as a homeless person, whether they come in as the meanest person on the block, whether they come in as the brightest of the bright frequencies and you just want to keep them in your pocket, they're coming in all shapes, forms.
That's super
The
cool.
angels are amongst us, okay?
Yeah. Super
And
cool.
they're there to teach us that we should not judge a book by its cover. Truly.
You never know like what's inside of someone.
Yeah. You never really know. But if you feel them with your heart instead of your brain, you will like connect to their hearts and say, ah, you're different than I thought you were.
Mhm.
You know? So you treat everybody as you would like to be treated yourself. And then when you feel that within yourself, how you would wish to be treated if you were that person, then your heart's automatically on, you know?
Yeah.
And then you can speak to them how they should be spoken to instead of from a egoic
Mhm.
sort of way. You
Mhm.
know, so yeah, this is wonderful. This is a great journey for you. I'm happy.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks so much.
Yeah,
Yeah, it'll
yeah.
be good. I just gotta pass my test. Having a hard time studying, having a hard time succeeding studying. So
Don't worry about it. It'll all come to
Yep,
you.
it'll come.
It'll come.
okay.
It'll
Okay.
come. It's like everything
Kimmy,
else.
have you tried ginkgo biloba?
Mm-mm.
Oftentimes, I helped my students, they would have challenges, and I would just step in and assist them and even buy them whatever it was they needed to succeed. And often was the case, they needed ginkgo, and I would start them on the milligram is 120 milligrams. It's a natural substance, and actually comes from the ginkgo tree. And I started them for their first week, taking one in the morning and one at night, and then just one in the morning after that. And because they would be so stressed out and tired and trying to study and go to class and then all the clinicals, and they would really, really complain about having a hard time focusing. And I started them on that, and before the week was up, they were like, I can't even believe I'm the same person. I mean, I can think clearly since I can't remember when, and it truly, truly helped them focus on their mission.
I'll have to try
And
that.
it helped them a lot. And I would just buy them a bottle, and oftentimes it'd be complex as well, because we did have to exert pressure, with our scanning to get the images we needed, and it would cause numbness. And that was taken care of by B6 specifically, but B complex just kind of helped all of you, and that took care of that numbness and tingling they had as well. So I usually gave them both, that at the moment anybody complained, and it just helped them tremendously through the whole clinical process.
Very cool. Very cool. I'll have to try that out. I wrote it down, so.
Yes, it would be very beneficial, and I also took it myself. I couldn't have gotten through 22 years without it.
I'm glad it helped you. That's super,
Super
cool.
helpful.
Super helpful.
Yeah, ginkgo helps with the short-term memory right away. Well, right away, in a week or two.
Okay.
Yeah. So even if you get it, if you can't, well, you can get it in any form. You can get it in a capsule, or you can get it in a loose leaf. You can make a tea. You can do whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not expensive. I don't know. I think it's like
That's good.
when I buy mine, I buy it by the pound. I think it's $14 or something. A pound, and a pound to last a couple of months. Making tea. Yeah.
You get it in like powder form or something?
It's well, it's crunched up leaves. It's sifted so all the stems are taken out, and it's just the leaf.
Oh, okay.
Cut and sifted tea leaf.
Very cool.
I mean, that's how I get it. But you can get it other way. You can get it ground, like Collie's talking about, and take it as a pill.
Okay. Yeah, that'd probably be the best option for me.
Yeah, unless you like tea. Yeah, no, I like the tea, so I'll get tea part.
So let's get back to the topic, though.
Well, that was the topic. It's part of the topic. It's like, you know, if you're feeling
So
groggy.
anybody have any other experiences about angels amongst us? Rebecca?
I'm not really sure I know that I have, but I've had them so frequently that I kind of, it sort of runs in together,
Oh,
if you know what I mean.
microphone is,
My mind doesn't really want to go there because it's like, to me, it's just an ordinary thing.
yeah.
It's extraordinary, but it's ordinary all at the same time. I mean, I've had people come to
Rebecca,
me
one
at
moment,
that.
one moment. Your microphone is jumping.
Is it jumping?
Crackling a little bit. Yeah, I don't know why.
Okay.
I don't know why the signal is. You might need.
Okay. Is it any better now?
Oh yeah, that'll be
Oh,
better.
yeah. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah,
Okay.
turn the. Oops.
Okay. Yeah, well, the thing is, I've had so many people over the years that have been in my life, and I've thought of them as angels, and I've had people that were perfect strangers do things for me that were just so wonderful and so unexpected. And I thought that that was angelic intervention, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's very strange, because when we were talking about the whole healing, psychiatric healing type
I'm
of
sorry,
thing,
Rebecca, your
Yeah,
microphone is
turn your phone like. Yeah, no, turn the camera back off,
yeah.
and then turn your phone like 90 degrees.
90 degrees.
Yeah, and see
Is
if
it
the
better
antenna
now?
will catch your router better. Yeah, let's
Yeah,
try it
because
and see what
I'm
happens.
jumping every time it.
Okay, is
Yeah.
it any better now?
Yeah, it seems smoother. Let it go for a little bit, see what it does.
Okay, we'll see if this is any better then.
Whew, being
Much
sensitive.
it sounds much better so far.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, good. Well, anyways, when we're talking about the psychiatric healing bit, and angels, and I don't know, it's like, there have been various people over the years that have helped me in that respect.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I've thought of them as my angels in a way, but to have any really, really big specific experience, I don't know. I guess they all sort of run together.
Mm-hmm.
But I was thinking of a site that I used to go to, and I don't know if anybody's familiar with it. It's called 7 Cups of Tea. And it's a site where basically people can take a course and they can sort of train to be like online psychiatric counselors.
Nice.
I mean, not psychiatric, but psychological sort of thing. And you can talk to people who need somebody at that point, and they teach you how to do that and all the rest. So I took that a couple of years ago, and I wasn't really in the right space to do it at that point. But the thing I remember most vividly is an encounter I had with a man, and he started out, like you said, being one way, and then he turned into the very opposite by the end of our conversation. When we started, he was very upset, very angry, very disturbed. He was a veteran that had been very seriously injured in Afghanistan, and he was really angry. And we just talked for a long time, and we shared about our lives. And by the end of the conversation, like it just seemed like we both got a lot of healing out of that. And at the end, it was almost like he had been very angry and very confrontational and very bitter at the beginning. But at the end, it was almost like, again, he had transformed into an angel, the way he was speaking. And when we left each other, when we left the conversation, it was like healing had taken place. So that was
Yeah.
pretty much, that's the most vivid memory I have in that particular realm, in that particular area.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was, really something wonderful. And I was thinking, I wasn't in the headspace to do it then, but maybe I am now, but I don't know. I'm thinking about it. Anyways, this has just brought it all back to me and made me think maybe that's something I might like to try again.
Wonderful.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So you got a lot ahead of you, Kimmy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There are already like so many angels in my life right now too, so I kind of relate with Rebecca, just like having so many helpful people and angels and experiences. There's not really one I can pinpoint, except for actually there was one time my car broke down and it started smoking, and there's like a foot of snow outside, and I got out of my car, but this like couple came behind me, and they just like ducked their head in the window. They're like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah," and it was super cool. So yeah, I love people.
Yes, yes. You'd be surprised by what information or what energies that the people offer, even if they don't look like that's the type of thing that they would offer.
Mm.
Um, I've met so many people in so many different lifestyle circumstances that have taught me greatly about how to treat people and about you never judge the book by its cover, but you allow people to tell you who they are for themselves.
Mm.
And when you do that, one, they know you are a person who listens. Two, they will begin to feel comfortable enough to speak to you like they would like to be treated for themselves as well, right?
Mhm.
And three, both of you are able to allow your hearts to open enough to be able to communicate with each other from the heart instead of just the mind.
Mm.
And that's a different sort of communication altogether, especially when it comes to humans.
Mhm.
Because most of us are communicating with each other based upon mental concepts of how we should behave.
Mm. Mm.
Most of us are taught to just use our minds and perceive people and analyze people based upon what you perceive that they have in their brains as well.
Mhm.
You felt that one, huh?
Mhm. Yeah.
But when you can both drop into the heart communication, things then become smoother and easier, and the path of communication is so wide open that healings can take place on both sides of the spectrum for you both. Understanding can open up. uh, People can tell you about their life and you can help them in that perspective, and then they'll tell you about their lives, and then you can help in that perspective, and then you both leave the situation in a calmer fashion, in a healed fashion. I always say you can heal someone in a conversation.
Mhm.
You don't need to do all this other things. Sometimes you just need to have a conversation
Yeah.
with someone on a heart to heart level. And if you're able to do that, you're a walking healer.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's very important to be able to connect with yourself first, and then you can connect with somebody else who mentally you may deem to be erratic, or, you know, dealing with life situations that have put pressure and, you know, just chaos into their systems, into their
Mm.
auric fields. And if that's what you feel at first, you have to be patient enough with yourself and patient enough with that other human being to allow both of you to come to each other in a heart connective way.
Mm.
So patience is very important as well in this.
Wow. Very
Kimmy?
cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. Very cool.
Yes. So I just wanted to share that bit because it's very helpful when you're out there in the world.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Good stuff to
Holly,
keep in my
there.
pocket.
Huh?
Good stuff to keep in my pocket.
Yeah. That's why they say patience is a virtue. Yes.
Holly, are you there?
I'm here. I'm here. I was just listening muted to your lovely conversation.
Oh, you think demented patients, do you think they've been taken over by another being?
Not all. No. As of late, I've had a few drawn to me through my other site, Transcendental Enclave, on Facebook, which I turned into a podcast. I did one. I did my first
The
podcast.
first one, yay!
I did. It was on Twin Flames with
Ooh,
my twin flame.
good topic.
And yes, although I hate that term. Well, I don't hate it, but it's overused. What was I going to say now? Darn it.
Your interactions now with psych patients.
Oh, yes. Often, lately, anyways, I've had a few younger gentlemen that have been led to me with quite a diagnosed, schizophrenia, multiple personalities, all that good stuff, which I don't believe that's the case. I think they were younger, in their 20s, and I think they were more like the rainbow or crystal children that came in fully awakened, and that they were struggling with all these all the ramifications of being wide open to the universe and everything in it, in a human body, and not knowing how to handle it, and not coming into families and circumstances where no one's enlightened around them. So they're misdiagnosed. That I have run across before. They're simply really advanced beings, young beings, humans, that is, struggling to come to terms with who they truly are. So it is until they meet someone who is open and awakened and can answer these questions for them and help them search their own soul and teach them the tools, how, then they come into balance. So I think, especially in this day and age now, and where we are on a societal level of awakening, you're going to see more and more of that occurrence happening. It won't be a medical issue, it'll be a spiritual issue.
Thanks so much for sharing.
And I would beg to differ that most things aren't a medical issue.
True.
Most things are spiritual issues. And
Mm-hmm.
so
Manifesting in the physical.
Exactly. This is why, a lot of our medical fields, especially in psychiatry, need to understand how we are spirit first and physical second. And with that understanding comes the reality that a lot of the aches and pains humans go through, they're spiritual aches and pains. An event that they have gone through that may have caused a lot of emotional hurts that creates dysfunction, which creates disease because it was never dealt with on an emotional level.
Has to appear some way.
Yes, it does. It manifests in some way until that person is able to deal with it. And then the medical field steps in and they deal with it on a just a purely physical level. This is why, psychiatrists are needed. This is why healers are needed in the same spectrum because while the doctors are dealing with it on a physical level, you have the emotional and the spiritual level left to contend with, right? And if nobody's dealing with those situations, then you're just dealing with something, you're putting a band-aid on the person
Yeah.
instead of dealing with the root cause of the situation.
Right. I agree with that.
So it really behooves us as we evolve as a human collective to understand that idea that you must deal with the person if the person comes in with an issue or a malady, to deal with them not just the physical level but the emotional and the spiritual levels as well. So that's why all of the healers, everybody used to say, oh, we don't need that. That's witchcraft and all of that other stuff because it's different from medicine. It's different from, what is understood to be healing, by the American Medical Association or by the global medical associations out there, right? It's a different
Right.
concept. But unless you're dealing with the person on all three levels, that person will never truly heal. You'll just continuously deal with that person on a physical level. And physical levels have a way of manifesting itself over and over again until you deal with the emotional and the spiritual level.
Yeah. Yeah, I can relate to like emotional issues even like happening over and over and over until I deal with them too. So I feel you.
hmm Yeah, so we all need to understand that concept as, as doctors or healers or, we all need each other, basically. Basically.
Yeah, definitely.
So I like to just propagate that idea out into the world. If you believe the same, please comment below and say, hey, guys, we need to be dealing with people on a
Spiritual.
much more expanded level than we've been doing before, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're all needed. We all have a role to play, right? So, yeah. Rebecca, you have something?
Yes, no, I agree totally. I was just thinking that I have been very fortunate to have a doctor who does not just think about the physical, but I have been there many times and she's asked me how I am, not physically, but emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
And, she's known things that have happened in my life and she asks me about that.
Mm-hmm.
And in this day when so many doctors are just like, well, what's wrong with you? And get in and get out. It's so nice to have somebody who does relate to you on that level, not just, give you something to deal with the physical ailments, because like you say, they're really not going anywhere until you've dealt with the other things too.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know that for myself from personal experience. So
Yeah.
and my doctor seems to grasp that, so she'll ask me,
You're popping around again.
sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so she will ask me anyways how I have, how I have been doing on an emotional level, how I am in
Yes.
that way. And, it's not so that she can prescribe me some medication for my various neuroses. It's just, so that she knows how I am. And that's so valuable. That's what every healer needs, is to have that sense of, caring. How is your patient, not just in the physical realm, but every other way too, spiritual,
Mm-hmm.
mental, emotional, every way.
Yes. Lovely.
So that's, exactly what you were saying, Sarah. I totally agree.
Yes. Dan, do you have anything to say to this?
Yeah, yeah. I'm thinking that this is all fine and good. And I'm wondering what the listener would be thinking. So, it's all great for these people who are in the field, and it's all great for these people who have been helpful. But what if I'm not a nurse? And what if I'm just like, I don't know, an average non medical person? What can I do? How can I take action on this stuff that I'm listening to that I believe is an inactionable thing? And a couple of years ago, I did a series of guided meditations, healing meditations, where we would address that exact thing on how somebody can energetically, with their own energy, um, take action upon all these unactionable things that they believe are outside of their reach, outside of their doings, outside of their realm, but yet they're still thinking about it, right? And so what the meditations did was they gave them a way to take action on all that inactionable stuff. So it was a guided meditation, so you don't need to know how to meditate. It's very healing, but it's self-healing. um, Maybe healing is the wrong word. You know what it is? Because when you deal with those energies, when you begin taking action on that inactionable stuff, it's like a health amplifying kind of meditation. So you don't have to be sick to do it. You just have to want to take action on things that are completely out of your control. And what they do is they give you a way to manage the energies that are within. So anyway, those are all on my YouTube. Those are all on my YouTube channel. And in my YouTube channel, I don't know if there's 100 different or 90 different
Meditation.
guided meditations there. And the deal on that is just go to the one that you're guided to that day, and then listen to the one that you're guided to that day, because there'll be something in there that that you're looking for, or that your soul can use. So it's weird when you're shopping for videos, because when you follow your guidance, then you kind of get it, like it's like you're shopping with your soul. It's like your soul will tell you what it wants. It won't be able to tell you what's in there that you need, but it's weird, when you're soul shopping. So interesting concept.
So basically, meditation is important as a human.
Yeah, well, we call it meditation. It's I guess it is technically a meditation, but being able to find a way to do something with these energies that you think you can't do anything with.
Yeah.
But when you can clear those energies in you, man, it's so clearing. It's so healthy for you. It's so amazing. You can feel so much better, because before you start the guided meditation, you think, oh, I thought this was out of my control. And then you're in it and go, oh, this is in my control. So it's not that you are necessarily doing anything about the situation, but you're able to do something about those energies that are stirred up within you, and you're able to do something with that. So instead of feeling powerless all the darn time, you can feel a little bit more empowered, because you've addressed those things within you. And after you address them, you're calmer about whatever the topic is, whatever the thing. So these the videos that I have, the recordings that I have, that's the underlying theme of all of them, is that it gives you a way to manage energies that you otherwise wouldn't have a way to manage. And if you can manage them, you will feel so much better. You will be so much better. And you won't feel powerless like you did before. You can go, oh, I can have a meditation about that, and I can feel better about that. I can work through those energies and be fine. So there's things that can be done. Here again, it's not just a physical thing. It's like mentally going through and doing something with these things instead of just letting them sit there and stew. Because if you let something sit there and stew and you always believe that there's never been any action that you can take on it, and that stuff eats on you. And that stuff eats on you from the inside out. And you see it in, you know, the middle-aged people. You go, man, they've let things eat on them. It's crazy. Look at the shape they're in. So what if they had a way to deal with that? What if they had a way to work that through? So anyway, there's a bunch of videos on my YouTube. You can address all the energies that you don't know how to address. So anyway, that's what I was thinking. So what would the observer think here? So I'm not going to be a nurse. I'm not going to be able to go to a hospital and help anybody. No, but you can help all the everybody's in your mind. You can go help all the everythings that you know about. You can go and sort out all of your own energies where you wouldn't be able to if you don't do it. And the perk here is that if you do it, you'll be better off. You'll feel better. You'll be a better person. You'll be healthier. You'll be happier. So it's good for you. So go there. Do that. Sorry, just kidding. But no, yeah, it's all good stuff. Yeah, you can you can tune into your inner angel, even if
Yeah,
you feel powerless.
I like that. Tuning into your inner angel.
Even if
Because
you feel
for the
powerless,
most
yeah. So those
part, we are
meditations will all
all
do. And the meditations,
we
there's
are
30
angels.
minutes to an hour, depending on which one you go to. Some of them go a little longer because
Wait.
there's an after chat. But
Wait. We're all angels. Yes?
yeah, of a fashion, yeah. So
I
what?
wanted to point that out before you go a little further because most people may not perceive, that is. They
Well,
may
they
not
might
perceive
not. They might not.
angelic
What is it?
nature.
They might not acknowledge their
Exactly.
non-physical selves so much. They may not validate their non-physical selves so much.
Yes.
And I would disagree with that. I said, look, you would be better off honoring your non-physical self first, then do your physical self.
Yes.
And so this is why I say the spiritual practice is so important. It doesn't matter what your spiritual practice is. If your spiritual practice is buffet therapy every day, then go to buffet therapy,
I
right?
don't think that's spiritual
Whatever
practice.
your spiritual practice is, but do it. Commit to it. It's worth
Yeah.
it. Just commit to it. Your soul will be glad you did.
I would
Doesn't matter
like
what
to
your
point
spiritual
out one
practice is. I don't care
scripture.
if you need to climb trees or if you need to eat bananas or whatever you think you need to do. Whatever your spiritual practice is, if it's going for a walk to the park every day, then walk to the park every day.
That's right.
Whatever the heck it is, even if it's just washing dishes, you go, all right, man, I'm going to go wash the dishes and get into that quiet place and just wash the dishes and just go, oh, I'm only here for a little while, but that can be a thing. Just whatever your spiritual practice is, just do something. Don't just sit there thinking all the time that you're overwhelmed and the world is out to get you and all this stuff. Don't do that. That's been done before. Don't need to do it again.
Kimmy, you said something?
Yeah, Kimmy said something, but she was muted.
You're muted.
I said, don't be a Kimmy.
Don't be a
Don't be
Kimmy.
a
Why is
Kimmy.
that what
Why?
Kimmy does? She doesn't.
Kimmy doesn't. No, Kimmy's gotten better, but Kimmy has done that in the past. But
Yeah. Okay. Well,
not Kimmy as a person.
the fact that Kimmy has recognized it means that Kimmy's ready to expand to a new direction. So,
Yeah.
Definitely.
So I'd
and
like
that's
to
what
repeat this one more time. We are spirit first.
we're
Soul
non-physical
and spirit
first. Yeah.
first.
What, Dan? What was that quote you said? Turning into your inner angel. What did you say? You said
I
turn
don't
to
know.
your inner angel when you're powerless or something in those
Tune
lines.
in.
Tune
Yeah.
in.
Tune into your inner angel. Yeah.
Yes.
That will
I like
empower your non-physical sides. That will empower your non-physical self. Really, just the acknowledgement that you are non-physical first
Yes.
is such a huge leap of growth. Just a huge spiritual expansion right there. And going, you know what? I'm not a ghost. I'm not a this. Although there are phrases like that. Yeah, you're a ghost, you know, you're the ghost pilot, you know, you're piloting the meat suit. Yeah, you're a meat suit
I
pilot.
like the meat suit.
Yeah, so it's all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you hear those kind of things people talk about. Oh, why are
Pilot.
you scared? You're a ghost driving a meat suit. What are you scared of? You know, and that's just a little bit of humor about, yeah, you are non-physical first. You're non-physical first, and if you can begin maintaining your non-physical self, and that's what I'm saying, if you can devote to your spiritual practice whatever it is. You know, look, you want to jump and down, want to jump up and down on a prayer rug all day, you can do that. You know, you want to go for walks, you can do that. I mean, whatever your spiritual practice is going to be. If you want to learn to meditate, but even if you don't know how to meditate, you can go to the guided meditations, and that way you can still get all the benefit from the meditation without learning how to meditate. You can just follow along. It's so simple. If you can watch a TV show, you can do a guided meditation. It's really super simple. And most everybody I know can watch a TV show. So they say, oh, I don't know how to meditate, so I'm not going to come to your thing. Well, no, you don't need to know how to meditate. What you need to know how to do is kind of, I don't know, just listen. Just hang out. Just hang out. There's all kinds of benefit. There's the more you participate in your spiritual practice, the better it will be. But if you can't participate very much, then just hang out. There will be a perk. You will get something. The energies, just hanging out in the energies, you'll get a perk. There'll be something for you for that. And you might not notice, but the more you can participate, the more you'll notice that, oh, I see changes going on. Oh, my reality's changing. Oh, I see, oh, things are getting better. Oh, I'm not lashing out as much as I used to. I got things, all that stuff that used to bother me doesn't bother me anymore. Well, you know, all this, there's all kinds of benefit, even if it's tiny.
I love meditation.
Any improvement is a good improvement. But the more you can participate, the better it is. So that's kind of all ties in with even the first topic. So yeah, there's lots of contrast on the planet. You know, there's all kinds of people you're going to meet and run into. They're going to be higher vibration or lower vibration, and it won't matter. Your vibration is what matters. So if you are used to your spiritual practice, you're very comfortable in your own skin, then when these odd energies approach you, they don't throw you off so much. You're able to stay centered better. So especially the healthcare workers, you know, if I know they take on long hours and they do stuff, and I kind of wish they wouldn't do such long hours. I wish they'd spend more time maintaining themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, the pouring from the empty cup thing, and I know these people who are working so hard now, and they're just exhausted, and they're trying to pour their loving hearts out from an empty cup, and they just pour until they can't pour anymore, and then they just collapse on the floor exhausted. And so, you know, I wish that they could maintain themselves better.
Dan, isn't one of your daughters, or your daughter, I don't know how many kids you have, isn't she going into nursing?
Yeah, she's a nurse. Yeah,
Oh,
she's a nurse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
Cool.
so, yeah. And then I've had friends that are nurses. Actually, I've had friends that are nurses pretty much all along. I think I've always known at least one nurse somewhere through family, friends, or whatever. We knew somebody who was some kind of physical physician's field or medical field or something. Yeah. It's always something, or an EMT or something. Yeah.
Can we just take a moment to thank all of the nurses?
Yeah, thank everybody for
out there.
yeah, and we can wish them to
People in the
pour
medical
less from
field,
their
and
to have less empty cups.
yes,
Yeah.
to thank them for doing the work for our societies. Thank them for opening their hearts, providing that love, that attention to those who aren't providing it for themselves.
Well,
Let's
it's
thank
not that
them.
they don't. It just maybe they're incapable. You know, it depends on what their situation is. So it's not that they're
Exactly.
irresponsible. It just, you know, sometimes things happen to
No, I'm
people.
not saying that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what I was trying to get across. It's not always that.
Yes. so let's thank everybody on both ends of the spectrum who show each other that they can connect. The doctors, the nurses, really the nurses are our first line of defense when it comes to understanding who we are and how we're feeling. That's the first thing they ask. Yes. And so when we go to them, let's appreciate them for who they are, which are the loving beings that show us love, even if we're not receiving it in our own realities. They show us love. They're there. They stick with us. They stand with us. So let's thank all of those frontline workers. Let's thank all of those people who show us love, even the healers. They may not be working in the medical field, but their role is to show us love, to show ourselves how we can love ourselves. And so let's thank the healers as well. And let's thank every human who is part of our society who may not believe that they are a doctor, a nurse, or a healer, but they are still showing love to those around them. They are playing that role for us. And so let's thank them as well, because everybody has a role to play in this reality. And so
Hmm.
we love you all. We appreciate you all. We appreciate the spirit that you all are. And so, namaste to that.
Yeah. Why don't we go ahead and do a blessing and end the recording portion and let this
Yes.
whole thing stand? This is a really good spot to leave it.
All right. So, who would like to offer a prayer, your own prayer? Holly, I see you turned off your muted microphone.
Sure, I can I can do that. Let's call on some highly medically advanced beings that would like to bless us. Hetiti kiachata kiata aitzara ekia nama atsai. Ochikacha sia liana ba eketa eka ai chiki atsara ai akiara sa achuti aikanama aikara. Uchi aya chitia aluchi aya nachatainama asari dirasho. Arucha aketia saruchia nama aya. Unanayana masasaika chotsaya chonamokutia chisi. Atanikia sharayan diet jessikia shasama aitsia chikya. And so it is in Namaste from the Octorians.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Mm-hmm. Stiranire di sukarataya. Akutu shita. Klaki tisk alanti u ararakana. Kiarat irot kurasha. Turetki skirananti sira. Karatak arot kushutu. Karanangi arata. Sikuro tokora. Nira takari sualata. Karanangi rakani sukumurata. Tarata isake uwa ati si. Kiarata arat. Ora pe anukuru tuk o shata. Nayarata. Namaste.
Namaste. All right. I'm going to end the
Namaste.
recording here.
Wait.
Oh,
Let's
you want?
do
Oh,
this
you want to do
the
your other
right
thing?
way.
Do your other
The
thing.
right way, Dan. Let's not rush off. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. If any of this information is helpful to you, please share with your family, friends, and associates. Comment below your experiences, and Thank you for liking and subscribing. And if you would like to find us, you can find us on Facebook at Conversations with Sarah, and on YouTube, Sarah Oxidine, Conversations with Sarah, and my website, Sarah Oxidine, if you would like a session. So thank you all for joining us. I love you. I love you. And I love you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.